Greetings. Hello. This is John Hanley. Welcome to Giant Task, the podcast that helps you navigate questions, answers, theories, strategies, helping you become a first class marketing powerhouse alongside either your personal brand, your small business, or whatever problem you're seeking to solve. With me, as always, is the one and only Thad Bargeman, founder, creator of Theme Park Giant. Thad, tell the folks a little bit about Theme Park Giant.
Hey, John. Thanks for having me, as always. Theme Park Giant is an all encompassing brand for my content creation revolving around theme parks and roller coasters. I quit my job, moved from Iowa down to Orlando here last spring to dedicate my life full time to this dream of mine. And yeah, we're actually 6 months in here, so it's been quite
Cool.
a journey so far.
Yeah, so 6 months in, there's probably a lot of folks who want to take the plunge and become either an influencer or a videographer or content creator or what have you. We're all consuming more and more of that stuff. But as you look back at 6 months, uh, talk to me about something recent that you've learned that's helped you become a better content creator slash influencer.
Yeah, I think, and we've talked about this in the past. That in my old software career, you're constantly iterating and improving, and so
Yep.
I've tried to continue that, in this field, which I think you have to do in pretty much anything. But just some of the things I've been working on more recently. I bought a green screen, bought some more like actual studio lighting, and I've been messing more with actual true, I would say, production of video.
Okay.
Um, I've just been mostly doing kind of guerrilla in the parks and then edit it later, where now I can do more produce things with the green screen. I have a lot more flexibility with it. So one of the things I recently did for one of the Halloween parties that was here at the Magic Kingdom at Disney World, they actually allow you to dress in costumes during the event, which is the only time you can do it at the Magic Kingdom as an adult, because they
Okay.
obviously don't want people dressing up and doing whatever. But there's a lot of bad things that could happen with that. But
A
so
lot of
I
possibilities, a lot of
there's a
possibilities,
lot of
not good
possibilities, yes.
possibilities.
But I dressed as I used to be a huge video game gamer. I don't play as much anymore, and to kind of stay in that, I enjoy watching streamers that play games, because I can do that while I'm working on stuff or whatever. But there's a guy, Doctor Disrespect, that I really like. He's been my favorite streamer for a few years, so I actually went dressed as him to the party. If you've ever seen him, he looks like an 80s villain, essentially. He has a fake mullet. He wears these big red Oakleys. But he's also 6'8". He's a giant human being.
Okay.
So, like, um, but yeah, he wears like a tactical vest, all this stuff. So, like, I went as him, and then his whole character is like this 80s villain, 80s movie villain. So I thought, just in my head, I always thought it'd be really funny to have Dr. Disrespect at the Magic Kingdom riding like Dumbo,
Okay.
as this like angry, like why am I here doing this kind of
Yeah.
thing. So I just had him around the park doing various things, like riding the carousel, some things. But he does a lot of green screen technology. Like, for his streams, they are very produced. He does a crazy job. Like, he has a full-time graphic arts like department,
Okay.
I think, that builds his transitions. Like, he'll change them for the game he's playing each week, even, to be
Wow.
specific. But he does a lot of stuff where he's standing in front of green screen. So I actually used some of his backdrops and like did stuff that he does. So just some more of those things where I'm kind of taking my production to the next level if I want to.
Yeah.
So that, because yeah, I've been doing more of those vlogger style things, but I like the creativity involved with just being able to do whatever I want. And that green
Sure.
screen, literally, I can do whatever I want with it. So
Tell
that's been a
me,
lot of fun.
tell me like I don't understand. By the way, folks, I'm chief marketing officer of a bank in the Midwest. We actually don't have a green screen,
Ah,
believe it or not. We have a video firm, but we don't have a green screen. Describe to me how you would use that for one of your videos.
so what I do, so a recent example, So I had that TikTok that went viral that we spoke about in
Yeah.
our last
Yeah.
episode. And one thing we discussed in there was I wanted to do a follow-up video on that because I mean that thing's at almost 45 million views now. There's
Wow.
over I think it's like 10,000 comments. I mean there's a lot of community like feedback going on in there and there's a lot of
Yeah.
people asking questions. So, where is this? What's going on? We have one of these here, blah blah blah. So I did where I was in front of the green screen and was answering the questions, like, and I pulled those out
Okay.
of the
Yeah.
comments, like actually showed the user that asked it, like blah blah blah. So people do that on TikTok a lot.
Yeah.
But so I did that. I did like a 3-minute video where I'm sit on the bottom. It's like me up talking. I have stuff on top of the video going, but like the background is the carousel video. And then
Okay.
I also shot some other
That's cool.
video when I was there, horizontal, but I edited it to be able to like zoom in and show the rings getting pulled and some other
Okay.
stuff along with it. So I kind of had like 3 layers of things going on in this TikTok
Okay.
because I had me, the actual footage going on in the background, and then I was also layering in these like questions and stuff. So
Yeah.
the green screen's really nice because I can just be like a newscaster now. Like
Right.
um,
So like let me see if I understand. You could go not just to that carousel video, but say you wanted to show the Dumbo ride, for
mhm.
example. You could go video the Dumbo ride, bring it back into your home studio, and you're shooting yourself in front of a green screen, but in post, you can drop the video in.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
yeah. So I mean, it's essentially when you're watching the weather on the news, they're standing in front
Yeah.
of a green screen,
Yeah.
and while they're just standing there, there's nothing behind them. It shows whatever
Yep.
they want to show on
Exactly.
there. Because if we want to get technical with the whole thing, it's called a chroma key,
Yep.
which you probably know of just with
I
your.
didn't know that. I
Oh,
didn't know
really?
that,
Oh,
but I
so
do now.
what?
Yeah.
What a lot of and the thing is, it's one of those things I put off messing with because it's like, oh, this is probably gonna be more advanced and like whatever. I need
Right.
to set some time aside. It literally took me like 2 minutes to actually
Yeah.
figure out and mess with, but because the technology is just there now, so you essentially, those like dropper tools to like get a
Yeah.
color when
Yep.
you're messing with
Yep.
like Photoshop or whatever. You can
Yep.
basically go in and say the chroma key, if I pick this color, pull that color from anything on the screen.
Yes. Wow.
So you have that green screen, so it's all the same color,
Yeah.
and you're able to just say, get rid of that green, and it just becomes a black background for you. And
Yeah.
then I can take
Yeah.
that with my video editing software because that's all layered, basically. And then I'll put whatever video I want behind me, to
Yeah.
have there. So
Yeah.
it's actually very easy, but like the concept is kind of hard to wrap your head around sometimes, but once you get it, it's super easy, super flexible, and super powerful. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, you
Yeah. It
you can
sounds
do a
like
lot
it.
with it.
Yeah. It's indicative of kind of one of the benefits of what your journey is here to become a content creator. And so much of this filmmaking tech is so much more accessible than in
Yeah,
the past.
yeah,
I started in banking as like a graphic designer, and I remember the pain of trying to get like that eyedropper tool into making a color right on
yep,
a print ad.
yep,
And here it is, you're talking to me about chroma keys and matching tones of videos.
yep,
That's astounding how quickly technology advances.
yeah. And it's funny too because I used to build a lot of mock screens and stuff when I worked on websites when we'd go
Yeah.
show them to the business and whatever. And I always thought it was funny. We had all these fancy tools and whatever, and
Yeah.
like our BAs would use these really expensive tools and things.
Yep.
I built everything in Paint,
Yeah.
Microsoft Paint. I built it because I could use that drop tool to like
Yeah.
get the colors I wanted. Like it had everything I needed in there, and like I'd come into these meetings and everybody like, "Oh, would you do?" And I'm like, "Microsoft Paint." Like I just drew this up
Yeah.
myself, and people were so like I've always loved doing that stuff like that. So maybe that's why it clicked to me, but because I've messed with a lot of that stuff in the past, but
Yeah.
it's crazy because I think you can do it on your phone. Like just
I
pull
think
out
you
a
can.
green screen
Yeah.
real easy. I mean that's the stuff. Like I am a very computer I like a desktop. Like
Yes.
I sit at my
Yeah.
computer with my 3 monitors and I do stuff when I edit and whatever. I'm always going to be that way. Like I'll see people in the parks, other content creators, and you'll see them editing on their phone. And like you said, you have an
Yes.
employee that is
That's right.
editing on her
That's right.
phone
I
all the
just,
time and
yep.
like
Yep.
is doing great stuff. And it's like you don't even need a Mac anymore to do
No,
this. Like it's
not at all. And
crazy.
even on phone editing, there are some programs. I'm not well versed enough in which ones.
Mm-hmm.
iMovie may be one. I'm not sure. Where it's actually easier to produce stuff straight from phone content and get it out there than there is to pull it into an editing software and polish it up.
Yeah.
And that's something I've seen in the last 5 years of marketing. There are times you do need full on production agencies for a TV spot.
Yep.
But by and large, I mean, you've seen the democratization of that technique filter down into where a social media manager that I hired is producing full on video content on day 2 of being at the company. And
Right.
that's just, I think that shows from a marketing standpoint how important it is to be able to learn things and be unafraid to try them, which it sounds like has a parallel to what you're out there
Yep.
attempting with green screen tech and some other things.
Well, it's funny you say that because as you were talking about iMovie, I actually made a note that I need to go look at iMovie because in my head, when I do a quick, when I go into, when I do a vlog, if I
Right.
go to a park and I in my head I'm gonna do like a 30-minute, hey, I'm just hanging out in the park today or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't need my Power Director 365 application that I
Right.
use to do that because I'm not adding in a lot of
Right.
text. And even if you were, it's probably got good capabilities on there. But I don't need transitions. I don't need all
Yep.
these special effects. So could I really just come home and sit in my recliner and watch, have a game on, or and be on my phone, not having to be sitting here at my computer doing this? Because like in my head, that's very freeing. Like
Yeah.
because not having to be in this spot exactly to do it, like those things are always
Yeah.
important to me. So yeah, I'm gonna go mess with that and see if that makes more sense for me on some of those videos like that where I don't need to
Yeah.
overproduce.
It also probably indicates to me that I'm getting old full on in real time because I'm like, how this does not even compute to me to be able to produce a video from a phone, but
Yep.
it's doable. And I
Yeah.
think that's part of our challenge in both of our roles and for anybody starting a
It's fun. It's funny to me
business like
because
this.
I've always been an early adopter with tech, just because that's
Yeah.
who I am. But then at the same time, like new tech will come out, and I'm like, I don't know about that, And then a year
Yeah.
later, I'm using it like it's nothing or whatever.
Yeah.
But one conversation I just had with a friend recently, I found my video iPod when I moved, and I just broke out laughing because I was adamant.
Yeah.
I don't want my music on my phone. Why would I want my music on my
Right.
phone?
Right.
I want my music on my iPod, and my phone is my phone, right?
Yeah.
So, like an idiot, I carried around two things for how many years and spent
How many years?
hundreds of dollars on that video iPod.
Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
then why I bought the video iPod when there was no point. I
I
mean, there was
honestly
no
forgot
video
that video
really.
iPods existed.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what sold me on it. Oh, yeah, all right. And then like I
Yeah.
maybe watch like 3 videos on it because like, well, this is dumb. But yeah, it's just interesting that some of those things where I'm like adamant, like, oh, I never
Yeah.
want that, and now I'm like, why would I have ever bought two things when my phone could have
There's
done it?
yeah.
It was just a
There's
different
another
way to look. Like my phone was a phone then; it wasn't a
yeah.
smartphone.
Yeah, it seems like so long ago, and there's parallels to things going on now currently. Certainly, artificial intelligence and AI is something in business we're all having to learn, and we may be resistant. And I would out myself as being resistant as a creative. Like, man, you're not going to replace me. I'm pretty good at this copywriting and branding thing. But I think what AI can do, and I've started using it with my team more and more. Um, I'm not resistant anymore. It makes people who are good at certain things, whether you're talking creative or whether you're talking video production or sales, let's say, it gives you an added superpower if you use it right. And to use it right, you've got to be willing to learn more. And it seems like with any early adopter thing, we all start off as being like, I don't want to carry a phone in my pocket. I'm sorry, guys, I'm out. And then, 10 years later, you can't live without iMessage,
Right. Well, and I think the interesting with AI, I think you have the right attitude towards it, that you understand there's value there.
Yeah.
You also understand this isn't going to replace your team. AI is not going to be this creative
Right.
fix that I think Hollywood and some of those
I think
execs may
yeah,
think, and that's why we had the whole writer's strike. Because
Yep.
now
Yep.
I don't know that a lot of people understand at a base level that AI is never going to come up with a new idea, right?
Right.
It's
But
only taking things that are out in the world and like making them into different ideas, but it's never going to come
yeah,
to you with like a new idea. Now,
I
one of the
wouldn't I
really
wouldn't
cool
say I
things I
wouldn't
think,
say I wouldn't say never, I guess. I
well,
just,
that's
and
true.
the only reason I say that is just because I don't want to be absolute one way or the other. The amount of stuff they're able to learn and ingest from more and more people using the tech.
That's very true.
I
I
mean,
should never say never. You're very right on that, because in 10 years we could be going, oh my God, these things can
yeah,
create.
yeah,
So, but I think especially in your field, like the AI graphics,
yeah.
like there's a whole
There's so many,
world there for
yeah,
that,
yeah.
like a
There's
guy
so many
like
times
me,
you need
I
a,
should be using that stuff, to come
yep.
up with things, instead of, because I'm not a graphic design guy.
But for some of those low graphics that you might need, like let's say, follow Theme Park Giant on TikTok and you show a picture of a phone with TikTok.
Yep.
You've just gotten rid of the 15 minutes it takes you to build that in Photoshop
Yep.
and gotten an illustration that does the same purpose. Those
Yep.
are the types of issues or contentions that it's going to solve for a lot of people in the short term.
And those are those little nickel and dime things that really
Yep.
add up when you talk about time. It's like,
Yeah.
I know we talked months ago about, trying to do shorter content on 3 different,
Sure.
social media services. So you got TikTok, Instagram, and
Yep.
YouTube Shorts. To produce the video and get it out on all 3 different things is a lot of work.
Yeah.
You may not just, and especially like you build your thing in TikTok, well, you can't just transport that over to Instagram.
Right.
I
Right.
mean, there are sites that'll strip the watermark out for you.
Yep.
You didn't hear that from
Yep.
me. But but even that's another extra step each time of like,
Yes.
then you got to go download it again. So it's just like, yeah, there's all these little things that AI and workflow can really improve for people, and it's just figuring out where to use those, and like
Right.
that includes me even with like my branding here.
Yeah.
I really need to look into more of the AI for graphics, because I think it would help, because I do struggle with those thumbnails and things like that. Like I actually feel like I spend way too much time coming up with that stuff, and then at the end of the day I'm like, I don't know if that helps or hurts or what.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, everyone tells you have to play the thumbnail game. You have to do the dumb, oh my God, like that stuff, because people click on it. Like they're
Yeah.
more apt to click on that stuff. I'm never gonna be a clickbaity guy, but like I'll play that game if I have to. But I'm never gonna be like, oh, Mickey killed my dog. I don't know. Like it's always this crazy
Find
stuff.
out who Mickey Mouse murdered at Disney.
Yeah.
Now we're gonna get squished on this podcast.
Yeah.
They don't want those combinations. But
I love Disney. I love Mickey Mouse. Let's just get that up.
Yeah.
Get out there.
This person set fire to Cinderella's castle. We won't tell you who till 11 p.m. news.
No,
that's
we'll be getting canceled.
But that's we're all a little clickbaity, those of us that work in marketing and attention capturing, because you have to be. And I think getting folks to click or consume is a hard game that we all have to play. And and that's completely on point with what you're discussing here. How do we get folks to click on Insta versus TikTok versus?
Yep. And then I think the big struggle for me too is when I'm on YouTube, you probably have you might have a minute,
Maybe
30 seconds to
I would think
sync
30
that
would be
hook.
even the max. Yeah.
Well, I just think YouTube you have a little longer. Yeah, 30 is
Okay.
probably about it. Minutes too long. But you better
Minutes
have
too
them.
long.
You better have the hook set in the first 30 to 45 seconds.
Yeah.
TikTok is like 3.
6 seconds,
I
3 seconds.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because I look at, it shows how long the average like view is on your
Yep.
videos, and like some of mine like that don't hit, they'll be like 3 seconds. So it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
people are just they're gone. Like,
Yeah.
and in my head, like I look at things like a movie trailer almost, like an
Yeah.
old school movie trailer. We're building to something, and that's
Yeah.
how I do things, right? And that
Yep.
doesn't always work in this world because I'm very old school in that where I used to love going and watching a 3-hour movie, and now I'm a
Right.
guy I won't watch a movie anymore. Like I've become that
Yeah.
person. But like I used to love a really long, drawn out story and things like that, so I like that. And now I'm realizing it's like no, you got to hit them right away
Right.
with, and I think I need to get better about this with my videos of like, boom, I hit you right away with my whole
Yeah.
point of the video, and then we can go back
Yeah.
to the start and work our way
And
towards it. And then they're like,
yep.
oh, I know where we're going to, so now I'm going to hang around to see that we get there. And I think that's like something I'm learning and trying to be better about it. I almost feel like a movie director.
Yeah.
Sometimes with
Yeah.
that,
I
where
use
even
that.
for a 2-minute
Yep.
video or something, and it's like, man, you
Right.
put a lot of thought into. Like I always have like a mental storyboard, even when I'm doing like just a
Yep.
vlog in the park as I'm walking around. Of like, okay, I want to go over here and do this, and like this is the shot I have in my head of that. You know,
Yeah.
so
We
it's weird because yeah, I'm not a movie director. I've never done that.
I
So
think it's natural. It's natural for marketing folks and people interested in marketing to be storytellers. You want to build, have a climax like a narrative, and then the denouement.
yep,
And just like you're saying, that is all being shortened. I can give an example from my world. We do a lot of video advertising now, and sometimes you're producing it just for social, sometimes it's for Google, sometimes it's for internal landing pages, sometimes it does end up on TV network or terrestrial or what have you. And we actually filmed a 60-second spot, and it was a brilliant spot, and our writer on my staff worked with an outside firm to write it. We loved it, but it was like a long, laborious story. And you saw a storyboard, and you're like, "This is amazing. Yes, we have to have all these notes in here."
mm-hmm.
And then you watch it, and you catch yourself checking your phone during the proof, and then you think, "Well, I can cut this, this, and this, and get it down to 30, and I didn't lose anything."
Mm-hmm.
And then you watch it on 30 seconds on a social network, and you're thinking, "This is forever." And you
Yep.
can slice the thing up even to 15, and what have you really lost? And that happens over and over, I think, in marketing now, where we're having to pivot what we thought we always knew about storytelling and turn it completely around, like you suggested.
Yeah, I think I know my biggest issue. I need an editor. Like
I think we all do.
I
Yep.
mean, it needs to be me, but I need to be a better editor because I think my problem is I get so sold on what story I'm trying to tell in my head that even when I go through and like I'm editing the video and I'm like, man, like the other day I went
Yep.
to the Magic Kingdom because they put the Christmas decorations up. Because of course it's November 2nd, so it's Christmas. And so I go over there and I'm like, this is great. It'd be a quick 10-minute video.
Yep.
I'm just gonna go walk up and down Main Street. They changed the Jungle Cruise during Christmas to the Jingle Cruise, and like, so I'll go do that. 10-minute video. And like I'm sitting there and I'm editing. I have like 20-25 minutes of video, and I'm sitting there going like, but I feel like all this needs to be here to tell the
Yeah.
story that I wanted to tell
Yeah.
for this. And I was pretty good the other day about like, okay, I always write the people mover. Well, I don't need to have the people mover right in there. So I
Right.
took that out. I just mentioned I wrote it. That's it. But like, and I still ended up like a 15-minute video or whatever. But I'm like, you know what? 15's not bad. And like, because I rarely talk about merchandise, but with the holiday merch being out, I walked
Yep.
around and showed some of it because there is an interest in that. People want to see
That's
that
true.
stuff. So I was like, but then my thing was, should I break this out into 3 videos and do here's the Jingle Cruise is back, right? And do
Yep.
like a 7-minute video on that. Here's the holiday decorations at the Magic Kingdom, and do like a 6-7 minute video of all that, and then a merch thing. But then I'm
Yeah.
like, but I don't know, like, so I always do them all in one big thing. But should I break those out into clumps
I
and
would,
like,
I mean,
and then
if I were your,
advertise the other ones within?
yeah,
So it's the holiday decoration one. Go, hey, you want to go see the merch? Click on this one and go watch that video. I
yeah,
don't know, because I'm like, I like all my stuff in one spot. So those are the things I need to mess with. Do the shorter videos do better for me? But I mean,
but
I've got some
what I
plans
think,
on
yeah,
what I want to do with that. But
yeah, what I
my
think a
editing
lot
is
of
the big
people,
issue.
yeah, what I think a lot of people don't realize is that even with briefer videos, or if you pulled together a series from a long video and chunked it up into 3 or 4 times, getting yourself on message in a short format is often harder than just telling the story.
Yes.
And I mean, it is true. I think we all need an editor because we're all, the key storyteller in our own mind. It's interesting that more and more people that come into marketing get edited for the first time in their real job, whether it's
Oh.
a something they wrote or something they filmed, and you can see people's discomfort with being edited
Mm-hmm.
much more than in past. And I don't want to be an old guy on this podcast, but it is amazing that perhaps some of those skills like collaborative editing are a little bit lost as more and more people do more self-service tools on their phone. I don't know.
Mm.
I'm just throwing that out there, but
That's
it's a hard skill to acquire, editing yourself, certainly.
yeah. I mean, I'd love to have the money to throw at someone to do all my editing and my graphics and things like that, and I could
Yeah.
just throw some raw video files in Dropbox and say, "Yep, get this out on YouTube tomorrow for me." But it's definitely not where I'm at. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's I think that's I think that's probably the thing I anticipated the least, was just how much effort editing is,
Yeah.
how difficult, not the process or the tool to do it, but just what to leave in, what to leave out. You
Yeah.
know, does this really need to stay? Could the story I'm telling move forward without this 3-minute block? Probably. And I probably need to
Yeah.
ask myself that more often. I think part of it too is when I get in the groove and I'm doing about 4 videos a week or whatever, you're
Yeah.
also not taking as much time within each project to analyze it as much, because you're like, man, I got to get
Right.
something out, you know?
Right.
Because like right now, I feel like, okay, I got a little momentum. I've been producing content. My views have been better on YouTube the last week, 10 days, 2 weeks than they had been. I mean, partially because I hadn't put anything out in like 2 or 3 weeks before that. But you see that momentum when you keep putting things out, 3 or 4 times a week,
Yep.
that YouTube will push you more. If you feed the beast will kind of feed you as well. So I think that's been one of my biggest problems these last few months, is because the burnout, we've talked about that the first
Yeah.
few months, where like I never really dedicated to the grind those first 3-4 months or whatever. And then now I really am again, and I am seeing a bit of an uptick in my YouTube stuff
Yeah.
that gives me some hope, where then like at the same time, like TikTok's been very successful for me in a hypothetical sense, not a monetary sense or anything, but I'm building a brand there. I have a decent following, almost 6,000 followers
Mhm.
now. I've had 2 things go viral there, so like I have some sort of presence in the world there.
Yeah.
And so like that that has helped me. Like I'm very good about getting TikToks out 3 to 4
Yeah.
times a week because I've seen some sort
You've
of
seen some
response.
interaction. Yeah.
Yes, where like I've completely cut off Instagram and YouTube Shorts for now because it's like just wasn't getting me anything, which was
Yeah.
a silly thing to do. I really need to go build those libraries up again because I will need those. So I can't just
Right.
only depend on TikTok or whatever. I need to play the game in all these arenas, to be successful. I feel like I think you have to have your hand in all the cookie jars.
Yeah. And figure out where it ends up that is like your core
Yeah.
business
Yeah,
channel.
maybe in a year I can
Yeah.
go, Instagram doesn't do anything for me. It's not my demographic, whatever. I've proven that. Let's move on, Or like I just gave up on it after a couple months because I was like, I'm not getting anything out of this. So, which is a very,
Yeah.
short-sighted way to look at things when I'm trying to grow a brand. I can't just be like, oh, well, Instagram's done after 50 videos and I didn't go viral. So like, yeah.
True. But I think that shows the difficulty of branding, whether it's your self-started business or, a smaller business who may be watching this, or a giant firm. You can't ever accomplish everything all at once. And a couple of things I heard from you on skill sets is it does sound easy to edit, but it's perhaps the actual strategic planning or strategic thinking that precedes the editing that's actually hard for all of us. And that's the real work a lot of times with the storytelling and campaigning and marketing.
Yep. Yeah, when I have an idea for a video before I go to the park or anything, and it's very detailed in my head, those just run so much smoother from start to
Yeah.
finish because I've usually mapped out all my video spots in order too, so that way,
Yeah.
like I just pull them right off my phone and I can pull them right in order. Because
Yeah.
as it's a lame excuse or whatever, but when you start shooting video in a park and you're just kind of willy nilly all over the place, and then I get home and I have 100 video files that I have to piece
Yeah.
together now like a jigsaw puzzle. That's a lot of work. Like that
It
takes
is.
time because then it's not like the files. I can't name the file as I record it. Like, oh,
Right.
this is
Right.
the Dumbo ride. You have to go in and see what it was, and yeah, I know it probably doesn't sound like much, but it is a lot of work. So the more
Right.
effort I can put up front, and that's with anything, the more time you're going to invest up front and plan things out, the better it's going to be. So
That's true.
I think sometimes when I'm always like, oh, I'm just going to go to the park and do a vlog, those are my worst. I never have
Yeah.
any idea. And and in my head, that's what I think the people I watch are doing. But now that I've been doing this a while, when I go watch them now, I'm like, they have a plan and they tell me at the
Yep.
start everything they're going to do, and then they basically do it. They very rarely
Yep.
branch off from that because I'm sure they've learned this was my idea in my head, this is what I'm going to do, and that works for them. So
Right.
it's having that plan. Now, I do want to mess with like streaming in the parks more,
Sure.
and play with that, where that is just willy nilly, whatever. Like let the chat decide what you're going to ride next. Build a
Yeah.
community, things like that. So
Yeah.
I do want to mess with that. I'm just the logistics of that just seem like a lot to me. Like I'll see
That's
people in the
probably
parks that do that, and they have like harnesses and I get it. I don't want to hold a gimbal for 3 hours. Even a 3-hour stream is a long time to hold.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I get it. And then you're gonna have to have power packs, and then
Yep.
and then I think of like when I go inside a show building at Disney to ride something, do I have a good enough internet connection to be streaming live and not lose that? But like these people, it seems to work for them. But do they have are they carrying like hotspot or something, that they buy. Like these are all. This is my next investigative thing because
Yeah.
I think there's a market for the vloggers in the live streaming in the park. I feel like people really like that you're like instantly there and the real time of like, hey, would you go ride Pirates of the Caribbean? It's like, yeah, I'll go do that. And then they feel like they're part of something, and then like you go ride. I like that idea too, and I think my big struggle, you know me, I talk a lot, and like I feel like you have to be around me a lot to understand who I am. Like I struggle in a 15 to 20-second video clip to be me. Where I think if streaming, you can really get to know me, and from
Yeah.
there maybe branch out and start watching some of my other videos too, because you're like, oh, I know Thad now, so I know more of who he is when I watch these videos ahead of time.
Makes me wonder if that's the case. That number one, that's an exercise in editing, and also bringing it back to our first lesson. How do we punch them in the face with your personality? That's
Right.
something you'll have to figure out. But also gauging how folks are watching you is important. Like maybe there is a venue where they could watch 10-second burst after 10-second burst after 10-second burst, and then really feel like, hey, I know Theme Park Giant, I really do.
Yeah.
And so those are some of the challenges that you've got ahead of you. But I think what's awesome about marketing is that and with content creation is that you can get to a point where those challenges become reality or become opportunities for you, but you don't get there without taking steps to learn
Mm-hmm.
new tech and new things.
Yep. Yeah, I agree.
Well, that brings us full circle, Thad. And we started this talking about what you may have learned in the last 30 days, and we ended with some different techniques and tricks that we all can work on when we're starting our own brands and working on our own business. And hopefully the folks out there got a chance to see what goes into starting and building, creating your personal brand. What do you have coming up for the folks that you wanna throw out there and have them check up on Theme Park Giant?
Yeah, we got actually a lot going on here right now. The holiday season is firing up in Orlando. I'm actually leaving in about an hour to go to the first Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party of the year. So that'll be exciting. I'll be getting some video out on that because people will be wanting to see the first party of the year. There's a brand new party at Disney's Hollywood Studios this year, Saturday, called Jollywood Nights. So my sister and I will be attending that for the first time. That'll be exciting. And then just a lot of holiday stuff throughout the month. On top of that, more TikTok stuff. Like I said, I want to get into more live streaming. And
Sure.
one kind of side project we didn't really talk about on here, but I am going to be starting the Video Gaming Giant channel on YouTube to do some live streaming while I play video games. And a lot of that is just to get me more comfortable on camera and chatting with chat in the community, because when I want to start doing more TikTok live streams in the park or YouTube live streams in the park, I'll have to be better about that. So just one thing to keep your
That's
eye
awesome.
on, but I'll probably be doing that here in the next few days. So
That's awesome. Well, we'll stay tuned to you on TikTok for that, as well as other social media. Follow you on video game streaming.
mm-hmm.
I'm John Hanley. I'm at johnhanleyspeaks.com. You can also check me on Twitter at John J. Hanley. And with that, we'll see you next time. Thad, take us home.
All right. It's Thad the Theme Park Giant. You can follow me on all social media: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I just got onto X this week. Probably not going to do much on there, but I am there. So Theme Park Giant on all the channels. Feel free to check it out. We're having a lot of fun over there. Hope you join.